And here you have the new seal over here, this with the blue cap over here, and you have the old one. If you take out the cap, the protective cap, you can see the lip is much more proud as it is new, and it will squish against the oil sump over there that is prepared already. Hello guys, how are you? Today we have here a Alfa Romeo Stelvio with an oil pressure issue. If you have a Stelvio diesel, a Giulia diesel, a 159 less series diesel, a Giulietta diesel, or 1750 gasoline or petrol for the Giulietta and 159, this video will do for you. So today on this video I will remove the oil sump to replace the seal. You can do it with the original seal, you can do it with the aftermarket or modification. This video will do for all that procedure, okay? This issue will appear once you have the car completely cold, okay? On the cold start, so you can have this issue happening here. And also it can be only that, the symptom, but also here on this case, on this car, on the road, I have the oil pressure light coming on if I ask for more acceleration. As these cars have the variable geometry oil pump, it will ask for more oil pressure, and if it is not there, it will turn on the warning light, okay? So without much further ado, let's go. So this is the first Stelvio that I have here at home to do any work, and I never raised one in the floor. And I'm seeing here it's not very easy, so I try to do a trick that I do on more heavy cars, which is to lift the car by the control arm itself, right near to the wheel area, and then with the jack stand put it in the jack point. I'm hoping that works because the car is very large, and sometimes they do not like to be lifted in only one point. These ones, for example, are more light cars, and they are easier to lift. Let's see what I can do. There is no need to do everything at once. You can raise it up a bit by bit on one side, and then on the other side. That cracking is the wood that I have over there, so I think it may work. Make sure the car is with the parking brake on. Stelvio is automatic, but in your case, always check out. For now, for one side it is enough. Let's do the other side and then raise it up completely. I'm hoping to have another Stelvio or Giulia with the ZF8 gearbox to do a video for the maintenance. It's quite easy to do on the floor. Well, on this side you can do all the way, okay? Because on the other side it is already raised up, right? Make sure your jack stand lands perfectly. In the beginning of the channel, when I started to do videos, I did also showed how to raise the 156s, 147 and GTs, and from now on I will not show again how to do this because here it is on this video, okay? Now it's just a matter of taking out all of the bolts. They are 330 on the head, and they are different from spot to spot, so make sure that you are tracking that. If you did not eat your breakfast, now it's the time to eat some sand. Sounds really German, this car. It really sounds a little bit German. Let's see as we go along. Okay, I have two 25s. I have 25s over here and on the other side, and Phillips head screws on the front. I think that is it. 20, not 25. Yeah, I think so. Just repeat on the other side. Oh, I have to take out the subframe. I do have to. So yes, I really have to at least lower up the subframe over here, and for that I need a truss on the top of the engine to hold down the engine up, because the engine mounts are on the subframe, and if I remove the subframe, the engine will fall down. If you can understand. Well, for that I do not have a tool, but I will get it. I have to buy it, right? I can start to do some things. I can start to do some disassemblies. I have to take out here this safeguard over the radiators underneath. I possibly have to take out the front of the car because of the radiator supports, or do it like I do on the 159s, which is to hold down the radiators from the top. Possibly. It is the first time that I'm doing this, so bear with me, okay? I'm really trying to do this without training, to the video without training, because Stelvios are so few and far between here in Portugal, at least here on this area of my country. This may well be the only Stelvio on the channel, so I really have to take a chance, okay? Oh yes. How can I do this? Possibly this is completely common knowledge to you because, well, in your country, Stelvios may be abundant and Giulias, but here they are not. My idea here is to break everything loose, to try to understand what it is needed as we go along. So the sway bar, maybe I will leave it here. I just take out here the bolts, the nuts actually. The steering rack will stay, I believe. Just two bolts over here, just like a BMW. This really smells like a German car. Really, a lot. That is good and bad. So the subframe comes along this way over here, and I have to take out here these covers to reach the bolts. So let's see how it goes. Do the same on the other side, of course. Ooh, maybe the wheel arch. All together. The wheel arch cover. Is quite long, so this one I can take it to a side, but the bottom one I have to remove it altogether. It is very long, all the way to the back of the car, and on the other side the same thing. Oh my dog. Okay, I have to do it right. So this is this can go to a side, but this bottom one has to come out altogether. It will be very awkward because it is very long. Is it enough? Can I pass it through the jack? Yeah, I can. Yes. Yes. Do the same on the other side, okay? So as you can see, the covers are down. Now we can reach there the back bolts, okay? On the other side, the same thing. Now possibly I can do here these bolts for the steering rack. About the control arms, I'm thinking here probably over here. Probably over there. I have to find another way to take it out because this is aluminum. Yeah, and I do not want to scratch this with my hammers. So on this side I can remove that, but this one not so much. On the BMWs, I do remove them from this side because on this side is always very crusty and difficult to remove. Possibly I try firstly on this side first, like the BMWs. This is a E18, so external torques 18. I'm saying this appears to be a lot like German cars because being rear-wheel drive, it has to look like something, right? And the next relatives to it are the Germans. The parts are all custom for Alfa Romeo, I believe. Possibly even Maserati and other Italian brands, other top brands. This is very known for you guys, but for me, it will never be. I will never be able to work on one of those cars, unfortunately. There is a seller, a very popular seller here in Portugal that sells high-end Italian cars, and I try to reach them to do reviews and to do other stuff and to possibly even work on cars, but to no avail. About the oil, once we reach it, I will use 0W20. That is the specification for Portugal. In our country, let me know down on the comments which it is, and obviously oil filter. Okay, it's free. Now here possibly the nuts for the sway bar. I'm trying to. My initial thoughts was to do a quick video on this car if the necessity of the subframe was not existent, but oh, it is a bolt in nut. How in the world can I reach it? It is the torques too. Oh my lord. Okay. I can reach it with something, but it appears to be very odd. On this side it is not so, but on this side it is. So possibly I do it from the drop links. I take out the drop links with the sway bar out. That way, not messing with my head. But I have to retighten them now. Okay. Well, after further inspection, the access is not that bad. So let's carry on with the initial idea. It is a T50, Torx 50 on top. Repeat this on both sides. On that side we have more space, at least for left-hand drive cars, because you have a electric water pump on this side. Well, this car is quite balanced out on the things that are good for the things that are bad, so it is quite easy to do the maintenance on the gearbox. It is quite easy to do the timing belt, for example, but it appears to be quite difficult to take out the sump. Well, but the sump is not supposed to be maintenance related stuff, so I'm really talking rubbish over here, right? The sway bar is doing a little bit of force because of the position of the suspension, of course. Just repeat on the other side. Over here we have the bolt for this control arm over here. Okay. On the other side the same thing. Quite a long bolt, appears to be. I would imagine this to be an issue on snowy countries with salt and corrosion. So on your way in, make sure to use a lot of anti-seize, really quite a lot. Ow! Sharp edges on aluminium or aluminum will cut. If you have a small compact impact gun, you can do this no problem, okay? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Maybe I can leave this one with the thing over here with this part and take and remove this one. Well, let's see. Take out here the spindle for the control of the lights, the height of the lights. External Torx 14. Remember that we have the shock absorber doing some force, not a lot, on this control arm. It is to be expected. It is more the weight of the shock than the actual shock. But be aware of that, okay, for your fingers and whatnot. Just like so. And on this side it comes out quite well. I possibly just have to remove here this tie rod. I do not want to hit it directly. I will have to buy another hammer to do a cushioning effect. That seems to work quite well. And just repeat on the other side. So repeat on the other side, right? So you already heard never to bang two hammers together because they may cause some issues in your eyes. So for the first time on the channel, proper equipment. Rest a heavy hammer on the area that you want to use, and with the other hammer, this is not a hammer but it qualifies, just bang it, okay? And it's out. Some minor scuff, but it is to be expected. It is aluminum after all, right? No transmission shaft to be worried about. Quite nice. Just like a Beamer. And so what do you want to see next is everything that is attached to the subframe onto the body of the car. We have to disconnect, for example, there the plug for the sensor, the height sensor of the suspension. For the engine mounts over there, I have 3 bolts holding down the engine mount, and I have a nut just like the Germans, okay? I'm sorry, I'm talking about the Germans all the time because there is an excellent comparison to make, because it is a similar drivetrain assembly, and in that way you can make sense of what I'm trying to say. So if I remove here this cover, I may be able to reach it a little bit better, and in that way, instead of reaching from the top, which may be possible, that one nut from the top, yeah, it's possible. I think it's possible. Let's try it, okay? Actually, you can try it right now. On this side, maybe not. On this side, maybe not. Maybe we have to do it from below, over here. And on this side, we have a wiring that goes to the steering rack that we have to take out the bolts. Not necessary to disconnect, but we have to take out the bolts that bolt on to the subframe. Again, removing everything that is attached to the subframe. Once that subframe will go down, it will pull down everything with it, so be very, very careful. The space is not bad, not at all. This is turning out to be better than expected, so I'll do everything that I absolutely can to carry on with the job until I have nothing more to do, unless when I have my bridge over here to hold down the engine from the top. I will take out here the cover and arrange a way to lift the engine up. This will not do, because this, as you can see, with only my hand will bend down, so this will not work at all. Okay. Again, another thing is the radiator supports over here. Maybe I have to find a way to clamp them down over here to this thrust support over here. Maybe I have to lower a bit the subframe to see how it moves, like I did on 159, and to see how it will go. Well, I think we are near. These connectors over here, usually they are very difficult to remove, so make sure to use some WD-40 or some other spray. They have two tabs just like this one on each side, and normally, being on this position, sand gets in the way, gets underneath over here, and makes it very, very, very difficult to remove. So if you need to use some compressed air or something to get rid of that sand, okay? See, I will have to take out here at least this cover, because I have some not power steering lines, because this car does not have hydraulic power steering, but maybe AC lines that go over here behind this, and they go to the subframe. So they have a bracket that goes to the subframe, and I have to reach it better, and possibly like I have to do this right engine mount from this side, from this hole. I just have a lot to gain if I do remove this. The clips, bolts and nuts are amazingly easy to remember. They are quite familiar, all different from the norm, but quite familiar at the same time. And to remove it, you have to take out this wheel arch liner, and for that we will break a lot of clips, so I will need clips for this. Already broke some, a few more, all broken, yay! Absolutely every single one is broken. Because I have more clips down here, just have to, okay? It's one of those things that it is just single use, so just have to buy new ones. Probably not that expensive, I hope. I'm not cutting, just pulling. Puxar. These are not single use, okay? So for this, let's try to avoid taking out the other wheel cover. Like I said, this is my first time on these models. So I'm also learning as I go. Well, this is great for corrosion. Not here in Portugal, but I can see in our country this lower part over here will start to have problems. And to clean it, you have to break the clips. Hooray! It's quite solid. The construction is quite solid. Quite nice. Very nice. You can see that it is a Italian construction, so it is very familiar. Those numbers and whatnot, and the methods that they use. Whoa. So yeah, that is not good. That could be better. So we are looking for that bracket over there. This one appears not to be an issue. Or I can take out these two connectors and leave. Possibly not, because the rack will stay put, and the wire also goes to the other places. So no good. Okay, it was just an idea. This is why you should not quote a number when accepting a job that you do not know. Now I am doing half of the job for free. It quite sucks. It's quite sucky. This bolt appears to be stainless. Appears to be. Grabs like steel. But the color appears to be. So it is a reference for the bag of bolts. Appears to be stainless, okay? For that. Oh! No need. So I just need... No need to remove it, because this support here, the bracket, holds down to the other bracket. So no need to mess with this screw or this bolt. We just mess with this one. This is a Torx, what, 25, 20. This area here is all covered with oil because of the oil filter. Straight for T25. Possibly I can do it with the 20. It's not very tight, okay? This area over here is very dirty with oil because we have the oil filter living up there. And yes, it's just the thing that I wanted. It's living down up there, and it messes everything up when removal. Also, a bolt is missing on the heat exchanger. If you can see, it's missing. Why? I have to find another one to put there. It appears we have here a E14 external Torx head on the engine mounts. Yes, on this side, let's do it like this. Okay, back, because I can see from above it will be a little bit nasty. No space for the camera and my hand. Sorry about that. But it is quite easy to do. Do you remember the job that I did on the 166 on the rear, on the suspension? I thought as well that I did work on them on the rear. It was awful every time, and once I cracked the code on that subframe down, it was very easy to work on them. It's quite long. All of the bolts that go into aluminium tend to be longer than normal because aluminium has a lower resistance and it has to have more surface area. You can also venture yourself and do from this side. In fact, on the other side, On this side is not, but on this side, the driver's side, possibly I can do it all from underneath. The space is better. Starting to like this car. So as you can see, on this side we have a lot more space. It's not a yard, but a bit of space. Just my lack of. Okay. So start with the most difficult one, because it will come by hand. Do not forget that we have to, in the meantime, disconnect here the battery because of the starter. When we have this ZF8 gearbox, normally we have the starter on this position. That's why on the BMWs it is also this method that they use. The gearbox is so compact, does not leave any room for anything else. So we have everything loose on the engine mounts. The bolts are completely off. We can start to take out here the bolts from the subframe just to see how it wants to move. We can do that. Once I have the strut on the top part of the engine, I can pull it down. Okay, do not forget to disconnect the battery in the meantime. Again, Bruno, again. So we have here for the subframe, we have, I believe, E18s. Yes. I have, what is this? 18 maybe? X. And E18 again. So we have 2 plus 2 plus 2 bolts to hold down the subframe itself to the body of the car. On the back side we have E16. And it can be removed. 2 bolts holding down everything will be more than enough. On the other side, same thing. Okay. Now here we have, if I recall, 16 millimeter hex screw, hex bolt, right near the engine mount. This will stay. Do the same on the other side. And now E18 on the front. This is best to stay here also. It appears to be very critical, or maybe not, because the subframe did not move all that much yet. Let's see what we got. If you want to know more about subframes, I already have for the 159 series, and I have for the 147, 156 in GT. So that will be very much complete for all our models. I hope. I hope. So for the 33, I do have video for the engine and the subframe. For the 75, it does not use a subframe, but I have videos for removal of the engine. For the 155 that I have, the subframe is identical, quite identical to the 156, 147 in GT. And I have videos for that, as you know. And well, we are very much complete on that front. So now we have here this one. I do not know if it is the same or not for the Giulia. It may be very similar, very much similar as this one. Okay. Don't drop the bolt down. or the washer. Okay. Still do not have the cross member to do this. Did not arrive yet, so I will try here with my engine hoist. Hold it up a bit, hope it works. My problem with that now is that I have the feet of the crane in the way. This is not ideal. This is not ideal. While I'm lowering here the subframe, I want to see if everything goes according to plan, including here the radiator supports. They appear to be quite firm, so no problems here. Let's continue. The control arms will hit, so you have to check that out. Like now, for example. Make sure no cables are being stretched. You can check out there the steering. I have to take out here this nut for the drop link, because as this go down, yes, it will start. Well, no, it should be all in one piece, because the steering rack is supposed to be near the engine with the sway bar, and that is assured by this drop link over here. So I do not want to take out the drop link because I do not want the steering rack to fall off. Yeah, okay. So what's stuck is this arm over here. If you have two people to do this, it will be wonderful. Okay, so continuing down. So on this side, well, is okay too. Again, here the control arm doing a little bit of force. Let me drop the subframe a bit. Okay, it's already off. So where is it attached to? So I can see there a bracket over here. Let me push it up a bit. Oh yes, another one that looks like a stainless steel bolt. It's free again, so we have to find out where it is being stuck. Again, maybe the control arms. Not quite. Maybe. Yes, it was that. See on the other side as well. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, so here you have it. Now you have a lot of space to work. I will have to take out here the starter, and for that we have to disconnect the battery. Follow the procedure that I have for that. It is down on the description, a video how to replace and how to do the procedure of the disconnecting and connecting of the battery. Okay, it's the same for all mixing models. I had to put some zip ties over there on the steering rack because it was dangling over here. It was very difficult to reach this, so now it is perfectly secure. I'm seeing over there, is there a drain plug? Possibly. If it is, very cool. Very cool. Okay. Now take out here this cover and take out here the starter and remove all of the bolts for the oil sump. This part of the procedure, except here the starter, is the same for the Giulia and the 159. I also have here two large bolts over here. And yeah, okay. Now we can work a bit. What is really messing with me is the arms of the crane over here. Very difficult to reach. I have to creep on through the floor, through the side of the car over here. Okay, but let's go. That purge over there is for the oil filter. Okay, you put a tube over there to a tray and take out the oil filter. We will do that in a moment, okay, after removing here the oil sump. Already removed the oil before this. Then while I have a tray on the ground because of the drips of the oil, I will replace the oil filter. You can do it previous of that, okay? I have over here how many volts? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 millimeter head, 6 millimeter threading, rosca de 6. Put this to a side. Maybe with a screwdriver can do this better. Plug to a side. $10mm internal hex bolt. Oh, Jesus. A Torx 45 here on the starter. Now the main bolts of the oil sump. Now for the oil sump, like the other Alfa Romeo cars, it is a Rebay 9, the number of the wrench. Just undo all of them all around, but over here next to the steering box it will be a little bit more difficult to do. I'll show you in a minute. On the front of the engine or on the, yeah, on the timing belt side, you have 7, rebay number 7. Yeah, yes, 7. 2 bolts over here, rebay number 7, on here and over there, and this side over here the same thing. You need a very, very long rebay. I do have 5mm hex with a ball point. Maybe it will be enough to do it. Okay, and over there. I'll show in a minute. Next one to do that one. There is a 7 rebay. Here on the middle you have nothing, I believe. And then you have on the other hole down there, you have a rebay. Okay, the 7mm one. Not millimeter, the number 7 one. Let's try with the ballpoint 5mm head. Having this the factory spec tightening, it should be easy to remove. In the worst case scenario, if you tighten this too much and damage the thread, yes, you have to remove the gearbox. And yes, you also have a rebay, a long one, with a sphere tip to reach this. Okay. Now the bolt may be stuck up there because of the RTV. This oil pan does not use any gasket, it uses RTV, so sometimes this happens. I will leave it there because I want to make sure, or meanwhile, while I take out here the oil sump, that I know where the bolt falls, because if it falls inside of the gearbox area, I have to reach it, of course. Well, to summarize, I have to know where the bolt is. Now to take out here the oil sump, use a large piece of wood and a hammer, okay? Like I already showed you here on the channel. Probably just use a bolt to secure it. Sometimes the factory glue is not very strong. The wood is breaking. That's what you want to do here, right? Not being possible to do with a lot of well, I do have space, but I am on the floor. Can't seem to get the hang of it. Okay, it is loose, I believe. You can use a screwdriver, a big one, or a lever to lever it out, but be careful when doing that because you do not want to damage the surface of the block or the sump, for that matter. Now I have a tray to catch anything that may fall off of the oil sump, of course. bit with a screwdriver. What else is in here? I feel something. Not just glue now. Make it forward. Ok, foi para a frente. Ok. Just now the source of the thing. This is the lip seal that you have between the oil pump and the oil sump. The oil sump on the inside, I'll show you in a minute, has the pickup tube incorporated, okay? And as you can see, this lip seal is completely stiff. And with that, it lets the oil, well, what happens is, instead of sucking oil through the pickup tube, it sucks air through this area over here. Even if no light is on, it can do that. Okay, because you have a lower threshold where the light will turn on. Make sure not to scratch anything. Now with this you can apply here the new seal or a modified seal or whatever you want to do, okay? This is the same for the Giuliettas, the 1750, the 2 liter, the Giulietta 1.6, the diesel ones, okay? This work is similar for all of those engines. And so the seal works over here on this area, and this is the pickup tube that is going to the oil sump. I will now disassemble here this window tray over here, take it out, clean everything very well, degrease everything very well, and reassemble everything again, okay, with the new seal. Now removing here the oil filter. These oil filters have a thing, I believe, on the 159 they do. You have there a scratch, a mark over here, and the cap also has a mark. If you line up those marks until you see oil dripping out, stop it, stop undoing the cap, and let the oil drain completely out. In that way you can remove, after a while, the oil filter with much less mess. Oh, I need 2 hands for this. Not easy. And yes, even if you do not have any oil on the oil sump, you can have oil on this area. Should have. That's why it's so important to replace the oil filter before you put in again the oil sump cover, the oil sump plug. Well, my idea, it's not working. Possibly it has to be unscrewed over there. Possibly. Okay, but I do not have any subframe on. Yeah, it has something over there. Let's see. As you can see, that is exactly it. It has a drain plug for the oil. You have to undo. It's a 12mm one, and to let it drip. Let drip until you have all of this area without oil, and then you can take out the oil filter. This, yeah. As you can see, it is just dripping. So we will attempt to take out now the filter. The part number for the oil filter will be down on the description. Okay, just a drip or two. Or more. Or more! This is not went well. Oh, this oil filter. Oh my god. Oh my god. Is it me or this oil filter has more than it should on kilometers? Well, like I said, this is my first time on the Stelvio, or Giulia, it's the same thing. And I do not know if these oil filters normally go like this. Normally, when they are squished like this, is because they may be very old and or have water on the oil. Water on the oil, I do not believe so, because of the age of the car. And possibly someone skipped a replacement here of the filter. Possibly. I'm just guessing over here. The filter seems to be very old. Seems to be. Not saying it is. Be that as it may, this is a blueprint filter. It's not good for European cars. The filter is very, very stiff. I don't believe this is normal. But you guys tell me on the comments below if these cars get the filters like this or not. What is happening over here? Maybe it is normal or not. And here you have the new seal over here, this with the blue cap over here, and you have the old one. If you take out the cap, the protective cap, you can see the lip is much more proud as it is new, and it will squish against the oil sump over there that is prepared already. Everything is clean and is ready to go in, so you just want to put in this new seal or the modified one, whatever you can do, but please avoid those cheap ones because you will regret it. Now through the night the oil messes up a little bit the cleaning job, and you must do a little bit of a cleanup right before putting in the oil sump. Just taking out here the most of it, not to drip on my face again. Okay, now the seal, easy to forget. Okay, just by hand like this. A little bit of a degreaser. I like to put it on a rag and do it like so. The RTV really does not like oil when it's not cured, so make sure everything is very degreased. Prepare yourself a bolt or two to secure the oil sump once it is in place. At this stage, if you have a friend to help you out with this, it will be for the best. If you do not, oh well. Maybe not. Now I'm really I want to go up with the oil sump and try to fit it in the gearbox area. It will be a little bit shaky, but yeah, like so. Now the bolt. If you have doubts, remove again the oil sump, touch up the RTV and go again. Now just snug enough and put another one on the other side. If he wants to, try another hole. Higgity. Now I noticed one of the holes is the master one. It's the one that aligns the oil sump. That's why I had to use another drill bit to clean it. So I want to locate that. I think it's this one over here, or that one, whatever it may be, and try to locate the oil sump and put these two bolts over here on the bottom side, for example. So locate all of the bolts, start to tighten them one bit at a time. Try to see also the spillage of the RTV. It must be uniform, okay? And go from there, okay? Then tighten up the bolts. I believe I can do 20 over here, for example, on these ones, and 10 on the smaller ones. These bottom ones, I don't know, 40, something like that, okay? Important thing is the oil sump to be correctly aligned to the engine in the gearbox at the same time, and not to be crooked or making a weird force on something, or cross-threading any bolts or screws. Nothing like that, okay? Again, with the seal, it is really your choice to use what you want. Cannot recommend you on that. Just really do what's best and try to avoid those cheap ones. I already saw them several times on my workshop, on my old boss workshop, and they were very bad. Some of them did not even fit, and most of them do not use Viton O-rings. They use normal rubber O-rings, which is also terrible. And again, imagine doing all of this with that bad parts, with those bad parts. I know that JTD Performance use a good quality one. Did not encounter. Let's see with time if they are really that good. I hope so. I really do. They are an excellent company. Never worked with them, but from what I can see, they seem to be a very good company and dedicated as well. Now, the cure time of the RTV really depends on the manufacturer of it. I like to wait 12 to 24 hours. I know some of the RTVs are ready 15 minutes later, but that are not cured for another 12 hours. So it can give you a little bit of a win to do a quick job. I did have problems with that in the past, even with those fast ones. So 12 hours will be, or 24, so I can have the reassurance that everything will be according to plan. Now, just snug enough, just for the oil sump to come to the gearbox, and only then you can do all of the main bolts of the oil sump. And at the end I will do the smaller ones, or maybe now. You can use the 7 rebuy, or you can use the 5. The torquing is not immense, just 5, just 10 Newton meters. Just snug. Now through the hole of the starter. Just snug. And the last bolt is through there. A bit complicated, but not terrible. Very crucial, this movements over here. It will be interesting to see in the future if this bolt is missing. Dropped it. Oh shit. Hooray! I was able to take out the bolt without taking out the oil sump again. Oh my god. Let me use here this method with the paper. If it works on this socket. Let's try like this, okay? In the hole. Nice. You have to do a little bit of force because you have to pass through the bolt between this sheet metal over here and the oil sump, and that will definitely move out the bolt. Just a little bit. Okay, now the oil sump itself. If I can find tools. Tools. Use whatever pattern you like. Just at the end, check all of them to see if they are correct. This is a 9 rebay socket. Over here it is a 10 millimeter hex bolt. And finally do the 7 rebay bolts. Okay, now you can do the starter. Make sure the dowel, the guide is over there. If you need videos for starters, I have them down on the description. First I have to put the cover in. Make sure not to damage the RTV. And of course, if you have to wait a bit, the 12 hours to 24 hours for the RTV to dry up, obviously the oil to the engine will not go in until that time. At least for my understanding, okay? Now the starter. I guess you can do it afterwards too. I'm seeing that now. With this movement here of removing again the starter and put it back on the hole, the guide, the dowel guide may have shifted, so pay very close attention to that. Very important, really. Torque 45, just snug for now. Top bolt, easy to do with a long extension, and the bottom one. About 20 Newton meters. Do not forget your electrical connections, and not forget that the wiring goes through this cover. Good thing that the cover can be removed without taking out the starter. Let's try like this. Come on, maybe, yeah. clicks, and it clicks, and it clicks. Now, yeah. Ah! Not good. Not good. Just learning as I go along. Don't forget here the signal wire for the starter. In the meantime, the zip ties must be removed, but I think not yet. I'm referring here to the steering rack and the sway bar. Time. Before you go all the way on the subframe, tightening up the subframe to the chassis of the car, make sure everything goes according to plan. So make sure to put every nut and bolt on the steering rack, on the hoses, on the sway bar, everything connected and ready to go. But do not tighten anything until everything is good, okay? Until you know everything lines up. Of course, here the brackets, you can go all the way, but beware of everything, okay? So you have this 10mm bolt here on the pipes that cool off the trans fluid, the transmission fluid. It's that 10mm that looks like stainless. This one, for example, I can do it all the way if everything is nice on that side. It is really, in fact, on this part of the job that I see most of the people, technicians, that want not to do mistakes, because we are so close to finish and they would just want to get on with it and tighten everything up, and you start to lose track of it, you start to lose focus, and you start to be annoyed, and your boss may be on you to finish the car. But my advice for you is calm down, step up, step down a little bit, back up a little bit, make sure everything is okay. No bolts are to be missed or to be left over, so make sure everything is good. Smooth is fast, okay? Smooth is fast, just like racing. For example, here where I have the box full of bolts and nuts and whatever, I like to spread everything on the ground or on the table and check if I have what I need. For example, I need this one right here, and I can start to see a mental checklist of what I have to do. For example, some of them you may not know where they go or not remember, but you do know some of them where they go. So you can start to look for that, to separate them. These ones go to the sway bar, for example. These ones I cannot remember right now, but does not matter. As you go along, you will start to remember. You will start to, so you can group them together. For example, like this, 4 of this, 2 of them. Okay. These ones are, yeah, to the sway bar to the other side, for example. Okay. Don't be afraid. Okay. And if you record everything, if you photograph everything, it will be even easier. What I like to do mentally to prepare myself to finish a car is to go with the same calm and the same method that I do when I'm disassembling the car. Because assembling something seems to be faster and you want to get on with it. But calm down. Take a step back and start to do things a little bit slower. Slow is fast, okay? These ones, for example, are for the wheel arch. Okay. It is not fast if you need to disassemble things 2 times, 3 times, like I did on the starter, for example. It is not fast if the car comes back with an issue that you caused by not tightening something. It is not fast if you have a complaint about the job. You do not want to focus only on the now. You want to focus on the future, okay? And plus, this is a reflection of your job. Even if it takes a little bit longer, if it's done properly at first, you can go on with other jobs and not worry about a complaint. So, for example, over here, I have to remove again the bolt because I know I have to put in here a bolt on the engine mount, and I just forgot about it, okay? You have to, when you are doing the job, do it slowly, do it calmly, more than slowly, but calmly, so you can appreciate everything around you, like I was doing over here, but I was recording that and I was not paying attention. And now I can raise up here this wiring and put there the bolt of the engine mount. This bolt over here is one of those that probably will be left behind because someone forgot about it. And then they have everything assembled with the wheel liner and everything else, and all of the clips that broke and whatnot. And they say, well, just for one bolt, it will be not not necessary to put in. Right? Wrong. Now I may have to shift the engine a bit so I can locate the bolt, but that is not difficult. Underneath here I can put a screwdriver and pull it like this, just to see what he wants to do. For example, we can locate the other two that are missing, and this one, leave it to the end. So over here I can see clearly, maybe you cannot because of the light, but I can see clearly that the holes are not lined up, and I can line them up from this underside. Quite easily, in fact. And that bolt that is up there, possibly it will go in place by its own. So, like I said, take a step back, take 2 steps back, appreciate what you are doing, do it properly, do it one time only. I get a lot of cars that come on a tow truck from other workshops. I'm not saying they are not good, but I'm saying that because of the pressure of finish the car, a lot of stuff comes out of place, comes not attached, bolts missing, nuts missing, a lot of stuff really badly assembled, and I can see that is because of that lack of understanding and lack of calm that you have to have when working on these things. Another thing that you have to remember is this is the life of something, a family that is inside of the car. Some things may not be that crucial, but on other things like the suspension elements, you really have to be very, 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 very professional, even if you are not. And make sure no one gets hurt. Yeah, of course, also you have to learn to deal with pressure. Of course you do. But sometimes it's just stupid. Sometimes it's really just stupid. The pressure that I work on the workshop a few years ago, that I know that the customer left the car scheduled for example Friday, and the owner of the workshop really wanted the car for like Wednesday, and the pressure was immense, always immense pressure, and mistakes were being made by my colleagues and I, mainly knowing that pressure was not necessary at all. Just a pure display of power. For what? Be careful not to cross-thread these bolts because they go onto aluminium. So all of the bolts are lined up. Sorry about this ranting over here, okay? All of the bolts are lined up on this side. Let's do the other engine mount. And then we can tighten all the way, all of them. So over here, for example, I could left the crane, the hoist, holding up the engine, in that way alleviating the weight and doing this more easily. But the crane was in my way a lot, and I just did not want that kind of negativity in my life. And I removed it. So with the screwdriver it's not that difficult to do. Just get the hang of it and it will go like a charm. Main thing is not to cross thread them. It is very, very easy to do. They go, if they are good, they go by hand. Next I will do the steering rack and the sway bar. Remember that the subframe is not yet tightened all the way. This one over here being on the other side of the wiring. Let's go all the way on it because I want to put the wiring next. And do not worry about that. So I have here 2 plus 2. I think these ones are from the steering rack, and these 2 are no. These ones are for the steering rack. They are dirty with oil for the filter, and these ones are from this large control arms. I think it's that. I think it is. So 18 e-torques. If I remember, the threading is on the subframe or not. Let's see if it is needed a nut. I think not. I think not. Always remember that you are working with aluminum most of all, and the threading is very fragile to start the bolts. On this side, the steering rack has a dimple to locate the steering rack itself. So start with this side, for example. So this one I believe, yeah, no nut, okay. This one I believe I will go ahead and torque it. Yes, I will. So keep that in mind also. Now the sway bar. Possibly. I think I go ahead and put in this control arm. So the steering bar is in, because I do not want the steering bar to hit the sway bar, and I do not want the force of this assembly to be very tensioned. So I want to put this in, and on the other side the same thing. Now the bushing caps are not on the correct position, because this is not the correct position of the suspension. Why? That's why. No, this is not like this. This is the nut on the tops, on the lower side. Okay. This way was better, but not like this. So you can disconnect here, for example, the link. In that way, swivel the sway bar to be able to get it right, okay? But I think we can. I think we can. Yeah, it's done. It's done. It's going. This too you can tighten all the way. On the top side it is a T50 50. On the bottom side it is a 13mm nut. Do the same on the other side. So if you want a piece of advice, when you are raising the subframe up, make sure to put in these 2 bolts on each side. It will be much easier. Now I have to fight it. I really do. Well, at least to remove the gearbox, you do not have to take out the subframe. Now, the first time that you start the engine, every time you do this job or you replace the oil, you do the maintenance, okay, do the service, you should have a message to say that the oil pressure is low. It is only normal if it appears after doing a service or after doing this job over here, because the system is not yet primed. What happens is, now after the first start, the system primes itself and the oil cannot back up. It only backs up if that seal fails, okay? That's why you have those warning messages that say that the oil pressure is low. No, it is not normal at all, okay? And it should be addressed. You can also hear the engine a little bit noisy. That is because the oil backed up a lot and now it has to prime the hydraulic buckets and whatnot. So no warnings. Let's see on the road how it does behave. This car is very odd. The engine only carries 3 liters of oil. For such a big engine, it's not enough. Let's see what time and age have to say about that. Now the purpose of the road test is to see if everything works perfectly, no noises, no strange behaviors on the road because of the alignment or lack of it. Everything is sound, nothing is loose. The complaint of the customer is solved or not. Just enjoy the car a bit and call it a day. For the wheel trim, the wheel thing, the trim, the round one, the pins, the clips did not arrive yet, so for that I have to wait a bit, but I can test the car obviously and just wait for the clips. It uses 9 of the red ones or orange ones and 3 of the green ones. Maybe I have to get them somewhere else because I've been waiting for them for 3 weeks, and the seal did not arrive yet. This seal is from a different supplier. Jesus, this is getting crazy, guys. Oh well. To finalize here the testing, I have to wait a bit for the car to warm up, because this light appeared when pushing hard the engine, and I do not want to push it when it's cold, right? Let's see with time and age if this low level of oil, damn it, is not going to do the same damage that did on the 1.3 multi-jet engine. That engine had to be revised with a larger oil sump because of that. Let's see on this one if it does not happen the same. Okay, it's a different engine, but 2.2 liters with only 3 liters of oil, for me, not enough. But oh well. These cars now have about 6 years. 6 on the market. So far they've been good engines, but then again I have so few here on this area. I really do not know the full truth. So let's go. Hopla. Let's give it the beans. No fault codes so far, no avarias. Let's do one more, just to be sure. In the meantime, let me ask you about something. I've been doing here the videos like this very long. They have been very successful in terms of time viewed and whatnot. I could do a video for how to take out the subframe and put back again, another video just for the oil sump. I did everything in one. What do you think, guys? What do you think about this method? It's much longer. I could stretch to do more videos, and it would be good for me to have content, but I really do not need that because I have content for 1 year ahead or more, so I can give you everything at once. I believe this is better for you, not to be waiting for another video and waiting. In this way you have everything. In later videos for the Stelvios and Giulias, I can give you here, for example, if necessary to remove the subframe for something else, you can refer to this video to how to remove the subframe and put that back again, and just see the other video, I believe. So let's do another pull. Fazer outra experiência. Oh, it's present. Oh, it's present. Let's just check if I have enough oil on the engine. So the consequence of ignoring this warning light is this. This engine already was running on 5W30 because of this, I believe. And now with the 0W20 that is the specified for this engine, the light is still on. If I use the 5W30, probably would work. Now, The consequence of ignoring this light is the tolerances that are built in onto the engine. If you have low flow and low pressure of oil, you have wear on the bearings, right? The main bearings, the conrod bearings, the camshafts, the turbo, everything goes berserk, right? Now, doing this, what I did, it is the 99% of the times it is this problem, but the consequence of letting this go for so long, and I know that this car runs like this for a long time, ran like this for a long time. Now you have this, you have a full repair of the engine. Nice going. It may be better, but it's not solved. Jesus Christ. Oh, this will be a very difficult message to give. It may be better, but it's not good. Well, maybe not. In the olden days, we had a oil switch. That oil switch just said, once the pressure drops from whatever pressure to half a bar down, you will have your light, your pressure light on. Okay? On modern cars, you do have a variable oil pump, like I showed you on the 1.3 multi-jet engine for the timing chain. Okay. The next thing to see here is the oil pump. As you can imagine, this oil pump is moved here by this center flange. This center flange will be new also. And this oil pump is variable, which means that we have a variable geometry on the oil pump. Very, very cool to see this working. Which means as you are turning here the oil pump, you have a small chamber that is opening over here. And this opening creates a vacuum that sucks the oil through here, the cavity. As this opening is starting to close more and more and more, it creates a pressure, and that pressure will go to the engine. Through the solenoid, as you move this outer shell outwards, you now have a variable position of the chambers, creating more or less suction and pressure of the oil. As you can see, this also will move. For example, in this way, you will have zero oil pressure. In that system, you have an oil sensor. You may also have a switch, but you have an oil sensor that sees at every moment, while you pick up your RPM and your pedal position and whatnot, you have your increase in oil pressure. And that increase in oil pressure is verified by the red lines if you have too much or too little pressure, oil pressure. If this pressure drops below a certain threshold, does not mean zero or next to zero. It means that, for example, you should have over here 3 bar and you just have 2.5. Does not necessarily mean a mechanical problem does not mean that we have a problem where you have wear on the engine. However, having the pickup seal in that way does not help at all. Having the 5W30 instead of the 0W20 or 30 depending does not help. Having that oil filter really does not help. I know there is a service news, I have it over there, it is classified so I cannot show you on camera, that cars from 2019 up should have the oil pan replaced because of this issue. Well, that service news only refers to Q4 systems, all-wheel drive systems, because the front drivetrains, the front drive shafts come out of the bottom sump of the engine, okay? Like a BMW, like a Mercedes, like any other car. They say that the manufacturing process of that oil sump left some residuals and some dirt, well, dirt crime, whatever you can call it, and they clogged up the passageways of that oil sump. For the two-wheel drive versions, only the regulator, the solenoid that regulates the amount of pressure or the amount of the position of the oil pump, which is now variable, 2019 upwards, they say you have to replace that. And on the 4x4, that and the sump, okay? I talked to 2 or 3 dealerships. They said, yeah, the sump, we do not do that, okay? Just clean it off and it's all okay. Unless the car is in warranty, in that way we have to do it, okay? But it's really not necessary, it's just a cleanup. And we do change the solenoid, yes we do, and we do change the seal, of course, and oil and filter. Okay, so this car over here may only have a problem with the solenoid, but this car is not 2019 up, it is a 2018 down, so it should not have this problem. But again, we have a very dirty oil filter, which tells me that the solenoid may also be very clogged up or damaged. So the engine itself may not be very damaged, but the 5W30 did not do any good, did it? Because it is a little bit thicker and the engine is not prepared for that. So before call it a day, before call it a scrap engine, trying to replace the solenoid may work. Thing is, now the customer does not want to do anything because whatever, okay? Bye.